Good evening and welcome to the Town Board of the Town of Ossining special meeting and work session for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. And please remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yesterday we found out some tragic news from our neighbors in Newcastle. Matthias Edstrom, the son of Supervisor Ivy Poole, passed away over the weekend following an accident in the Catskills. Over the past few years, I've gotten to know Ivy a little bit better, specifically in the last year, first as town council member and now as supervisor for the town of Newcastle. She's a dedicated public servant, always looking for opportunities to better serve her constituents. It's hard to even imagine what Ivy and her family are going through this incredibly difficult time. We'd like to extend our deepest condolences to Ivy and her family, as well as the entire Newcastle community, who are grieving the loss of this young life. Please join us in a moment of silence for Matthias Edstrom. Thank you.
Councilmember Meyer,
Present.
Councilmember Shaw,
Present.
Councilmember Wiltshire,
Present.
Councilmember Feldman,
Present.
and Supervisor Levenberg.
Okay, so we're going to actually start off with some announcements. We've been working closely with our partners in Westchester County and following updates from the state and federal governments as the impacts from coronavirus get closer to home. Today, we learned of the first confirmed case in Westchester County. County Executive Latimer held a press conference this afternoon to discuss what we know and what steps are being taken. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced efforts that the state's Wadsworth lab in Albany can now complete the test for the virus. Also, all that are working with New York Health, they're working with New York health insurers to waive the cost sharing associated with testing for this virus. These sorts of actions will make fact-based decision-making more accessible to all New Yorkers. I do also have a fact sheet. If anybody wants me to read it, I'll ask the board if anybody wants me to go through from the press conference, which are a little bit more details about Westchester County. I don't know if everybody's already been informed about what's going on in Westchester, but I'm happy to read through the fact sheet from the press conference today if you'd like me to do so. The New York State Department of Health has set up a hotline. That's 888-364-3065 with staff on standby to help answer questions regarding coronavirus. Additionally, Westchester County Department of Health has a wealth of information on their website, and they've also set up the 211 line with people. We believe that they're already staffed. If not today, then tomorrow they should be staffed and ready to answer questions about coronavirus. Most importantly, everyone needs to take simple steps to curb the spread of this virus and other seasonal illnesses like the flu. Be sure to wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer if soap and water are not available. Cough or sneeze into a tissue and throw the tissue in the trash. Try to avoid touching surfaces that others may have touched by either wearing rubber gloves or using an elbow. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. If you are sick, stay home. If you believe you need medical attention and have any symptoms, coughing, trouble breathing, etc., call first before going to any urgent care facility or ER so they can give you proper direction to be seen in a secure area. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces like your cell phone, doorknobs, keyboards, computer mouse, using a cleaning product that contains bleach. These simple day-to-day actions can truly save lives. Tomorrow morning, the Village and Town Emergency Management Team will meet to discuss what additional steps we can take to make sure we offer as safe an environment as possible and conduct business as necessary. Also, I will be attending a program at Phelps Hospital later in the day tomorrow, intended for leadership of local governments and other organizations who play a role in controlling the spread of disease. Anybody's invited. I don't know if you've received that invitation yet for IFCA, but please feel free to join. And anybody on the board, I think I shared that out with everybody. I look forward to learning more from our local experts, relaying that information to the public, and implementing any relevant recommendations at our town offices. It is possible that we may choose at some point to cancel public gatherings and to limit personal interactions to the best of our ability and conduct business remotely, but until such time, please be vigilant and stay tuned to our e-blasts, nixles from our police department, messaging from the schools, county, and state. Before I go on, does anybody have any questions, or do you want me to go through any of the press conference?
To highlight the press conference.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen it, but there was some stuff in there. It was
Okay, I mean, in the early hours this morning, Westchester County Health Department was notified that a New Rochelle man tested positive for COVID-19. The man is currently in a New York City hospital. At this time, the Westchester County Health Department is investigating. They're looking into where the man went and where his family went. His wife and family are already quarantined. They're assessing testing the family. One child attends college in New York City. One child goes to SAR school in New York City. The man did attend events at a house of worship, which has actually been publicly named as Temple Israel of New Rochelle. The county health department has reached out to see if they're conducting a full investigation to determine what other people might have been exposed if they were at any of the events that this man was at. The man did use Metro North to commute into the city for work. New York State Department of Health is looking into his travel into the city and conducting this portion of the investigation. The man was also seen at a Westchester County hospital, specifically New York Presbyterian Lawrence Hospital. Westchester County Health Department is in communication with hospital officials in the county, and they are in information gathering phase. If you have any concerns about COVID-19, please call 211. They'll have the most up-to-date information, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. Also, they're activating the Emergency Operations Center so they can be prepared and help coordinate. If you think you're symptomatic, do not go to the emergency room. Call ahead, as I mentioned. And outside of this case, Westchester County Health Department is currently monitoring 12 individuals. Some, I think they said up to 24 people had self-quarantined following travel to some of the affected areas, and some of them are already done with their 14-day quarantine, and they're out having not developed any symptoms. The other people are quarantined. Most are in their homes, and isolation is recommended for when you're sick. Quarantine is when you are exposed to illness. Westchester County Department of Health is following CDC and New York State Department of Health protocols. As of right now, the steps that have been taken with coronavirus spreading globally, the CDC has issued travel health notices. To date, Westchester County residents should avoid non-essential travel to both China, Iran, Italy, and South Korea, given the number of cases in these countries. Older residents and those with chronic medical conditions should consider also avoiding travel to Japan. Before making travel plans, visit the CDC website, as information is continuously being updated. I'm pretty sure I said, for the most part, was there anything that I missed that you wanted me to? What can you do? Children are not overtly at risk. Stay informed, calm, and don't be alarmed. Wash hands at least 20 seconds. Stay home when sick. Cover your mouth when cough or sneeze. Clean with non-green products, bleach-based products, and get your flu shot if you have not already done so, because it can be helpful. The health department has a coronavirus webpage. I think I said that already. Okay, so those are the highlights from the information that was shared today. There is a fact sheet also that Westchester County Department of Health shared with us, which we will share out also with the public, and we're hoping that the county is going to also be sharing some general protocols for municipalities, and we'll be posting information outside of our doors for anybody who's coming to visit and do business here in the village and town offices. So that's it for coronavirus. And I mean, that's not it. It's just the beginning, but we're going to be doing our very, very best. As for upcoming events, this Thursday, March 5th, Austin High School is hosting an evening with high school parents as an opportunity for parents to ask all sorts of questions that they otherwise might be afraid to ask. This event will cover topics ranging from mental health and social media to substance abuse and the dangers of vaping. The event starts at 6:30 p.m. with light refreshments before the presentations beginning at 7. On Saturday, March 7th at 1 p.m. at the Boudars Theater, join the Austin Public Library Ancestry Group for a presentation on the story of 2 local families who enlisted the help of this library group to discover their family histories. Spoiler alert, one of the families is related to someone famous. Come to hear these incredible stories and learn about how you can do research on your own family's history. The Crossover Yoga Project is hosting their annual fundraiser at Bethany Arts Community on Sunday, March 8th from 2 to 5 p.m. Join them to celebrate Crossover Yoga Project's mission of empowering vulnerable teen girls through trauma-informed yoga, mindfulness, and creative art expressions. I've had the pleasure of taking classes with some of the yoga instructors who work with the young women, and they are absolutely fantastic, as is their mission. Tickets are available on Eventbrite under Crossover Yoga Project. Save the date for next Saturday, March 14th. For the Green Austin Repair Cafe at the Community Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring your broken but beloved items, have them fixed for free by volunteers, and keep them out of the trash. We actually have our electric lawnmower fixed. And I think you can even get knives sharpened. I'm not positive, but I think you might be able to sometimes. The Green Austin team can help with fabric repair, wood repair, electric appliances, tech support for computers and mobile devices, electric appliances, I said that already. Ceramic repair, bikes, costume jewelry, toys, and more. There's also a kids table where kids can learn circuitry and how stuff works. Maybe one day they can be Repair Cafe volunteers themselves. For more information, visit greenossining.org. And that's it for my announcements. Okay, so we have one resolution, and that is to approval of repairs by Ossining Boat and Canoe Club.
Okay. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining approves the ceiling repairs detailed in proposal provided to the town on February 24th, 2020 to be completed at the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club with the value of the work to contribute to the club's annual in-kind improvements in the amount of $1,234.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So we decided to have this special meeting to approve some work being done at OBCC so the members can get to work getting the building in tip-top shape by spring for events that are lined up in late March and early April. Thank you to A.R. Swan, Councilwoman Feldman, and Town Council Adana, as well as our building inspectors here in the village for helping to ensure that we checked all the boxes in our lease to get this work underway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, and may I have a motion to adjourn into work session?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Wonderful. Okay. So, first up, we have our town comptroller, Tom Warren, to request from the board that unpaid water bills be levied on the 2020 town tax roll, as is practice every year. I'm going to hand it over to Tom to explain exactly what we're looking at for 2020.
Thank you, Supervisor Levenberg and members of the town board. This is my annual visit to bring a request from the village to the town board to ask that unpaid water bills on those parcels outside of the village limits be added to the upcoming town tax roll to be collected in that manner as is authorized by New York State town law. And it's also part of the intermunicipal agreement between the town and the village that the town would help the village in this regard. And the extra benefit for the town is that there's an additional $100 per parcel fee that gets added to these amounts that stays with the town. So we have 69 parcels, I believe, this year that total $84,417, along with a sample resolution and request to have these amounts added to the upcoming town and county tax roll.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
It seems high this year.
It is a little bit higher than it was last year. It was somewhere, I think, about $78,000 last year. I was looking through these, and there were a couple of bills that might be on the high side that added up. We don't always get inquiries from customers to look at high water bills, but when we do get an inquiry, we'll send out a water department employee to inspect the meter and to look for signs of water leaks or other explanation as to the high water bills.
I mean,
So if your water bill is higher than you expect, you can call the water department to come take a look and make sure there's no leaks or underground leaks.
I will say, since we're talking about water, that we also have the village is working on upgrading the water filtration plant and has already upgraded the dam around Indian Brook Reservoir. And as a result, there are going to be some higher costs, and this is also probably reflective of the increase in water rates.
Okay.
Would you not say that is somewhat the case?
Yes, I'd say for probably at least the last 4 years, if not 5, the water rates have increased 5% annually, with a stated goal of trying to generate enough revenues to accommodate the debt service payments, especially when the water filtration plant bonds are issued, which has been delayed again. I thought that we'd be issuing bonds last year, and now it looks like the project is delayed, possibly until later this year to go out to bid.
Any other questions about water rents, unpaid water rents? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
and
much.
Have a wonderful night, and make sure that you use your hand sanitizer and wash your hands frequently. I know that you do that already, Mr. Warren. Thank you. All right, next up, we have a departmental report from our clerk, Sue Donnelly, for her first departmental report in her new role. While Sue is here, we're also going to discuss formally adding a fee to our fee schedule for non-resident use of the dog park. Now that this function is being run at the clerk's office, we look forward to getting some feedback from our new Madam Clerk. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. Good evening. So I just want to update you as to some of the things that we do in the clerk's office and where we are on some of the different issues. So we'll start off by the happy news, which was that we issue marriage licenses. The clerk's office issues marriage licenses Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please bring the proper documentation with you so the process can move smoothly. Look at our Facebook page or the web page in the clerk's office, Town of Ossining, for complete information. I do want to stress to people that once you get your marriage license, you have to wait 24 hours before you can actually get married. So please work that into. Don't come in your wedding gown. Copies of marriage license. Folks who need a copy of their marriage license for a number of reasons. Recently, we've experienced a larger than normal request for marriage licenses because of enhanced driver's licenses. We want to remind folks that their marriage license is where they took out their marriage license, not where you got married. Please have the date and year that you were married and the maiden name of the spouse. Only parties of the marriage, their children, or a power of attorney can be issued a copy of the license. Birth certificates. Because the Town of Ossining does not have a hospital, we do not issue many birth certificates. Should you decide to have a home birth, expectedly or unexpectedly, the town clerk is prepared to issue birth certificates. Copies of birth certificates. We have birth certificates dating back to the 1800s. It's pretty amazing. And mainly through the Ossining Hospital, which closed in the 1950s. Your birth certificate will be in the town or city where the hospital was located. And the same is as we move into death certificates too. The clerk's office issues death certificates for those who have passed away in the village or town of Ossining. This usually means they died at home or in a nursing home. If you passed away at Phelps Hospital, your death certificate will be issued by the village of Sleepy Hollow or more likely the town of Mount Pleasant. New York State has moved to electronic death certificates, which enables us to react to them quickly and more efficiently. The recent purchase of an iPad allows us to react quickly on evenings and weekends, something that is appreciated by both the families and the funeral directors when we issue burial permits. Copies of death certificates. Often, funeral homes will request a number of death certificates when they send in the initial request. We understand that this is a very rough time for families, no matter how prepared you imagine you are. While we are always here to service the families, it would be easier if you communicate through the funeral home as to the number of copies you foresee needing. Our death certificates, again, date back to the 1800s. So many come to us from families conducting genealogy searches for their families, as well as those who need copies for their records or to finalize estates. Much like marriage license, please be prepared to prove your relationship to the deceased. FOIL. The town implemented FOIL Tracker last year, thank you very much, and it has solved so many issues concerning the flow of a FOIL. A FOIL is a Freedom of Information. The town is approximately 150 last year compared to the village of over 1,000. About 15% of these were still paper FOILs, which is exceptional since it was the first year of implementing the ability to upload a FOIL request from your home or office. Parking. Now you might say parking. Well, parking in and around downtown Ossining, as well as the train station, is not only an issue for the village, it's also for the town. Many of the folks living in the unincorporated area, as well as Briarcliff Manor, use the train station and are given preference for folks who live outside of the town of Ossining. I want to point out that we have gone through 3 sets of waiting lists. We did our waiting lists, we did our waiting list again, we did our waiting list. We are now starting a waiting list that it will be 6 months to a year out. It's approximate because the parking lots are full, the roads are full, where you have train, especially for the train parking. We are in the process this year of looking at all parking, but we are concentrating on the train parking, and we also, the clerk's office for the village and town people park there, do what they call the muni parking, which is the municipal parking lots. Every license has a season. Okay, so
We sang.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. So what are we going into now? Fishing season is upon us. With the mild winter, we are already having people coming in for their fishing license. We expect March and April to be very busy months. Peddler's license. Let's talk a little bit about peddler's license. We would like to start discussions between the town and the village to develop a common peddler's permit as well as a vendor permit for those who may need a permit for more than 1 day but not for a complete year. So right now, both the village and the town have a day permit and they have a year permit. But if in the town, at this time, the day permit is $25 and the yearly permit is $100. Many come in and are looking for the ability to participate in different fairs, festivals, and occasions, and would like to have more, a more easily way of getting a permit, and to discuss when we fingerprint and when we don't fingerprint. We had a young man come in, this was in the village, but he came in and he wanted to sell flowers, and he wanted his peddler's permit to sell flowers on Valentine's Day. And he was 16 years old, he filled out all the paperwork, and the only special stipulation we put on the permit was that he had to have a parent with him when he sold the flowers. And he went out that day. He wanted it for the 15th, too. I told him I wasn't quite sure if on the 15th he would sell that many flowers. Business directory for the town and village of Ossining. Our goal is to have 2 files via spreadsheet for all the business in their respective municipality. These files will only be used to communicate with the businesses, a list of required permits and license, including any updates that become available. The information would never be made public and not be used for any other purpose. part of the problem that we're finding is that so few, well, I won't say so few, but people that are long established here don't even understand what permits and what licenses they need to have. So we'd like to get that. Plus, it would be good for the town to know who is, what businesses are in the town. We estimate this to be a year-long project, working with the building departments, the Chamber of Commerce, and any other groups that revolve around the businesses, plus the boards, of course.
I guess in our assessor's office might be able to help you.
Yeah, the assessors and the tax receiver, too. We may stop by your location and gather some information, or gather it while we speak to you on the phone. Agendas and minutes are an important part of the clerk's job description, and is being interfaced in the and being the interface of the public and the keeper of the records. It is amazing how we are the customer service point of the village. We all knew that forever, but it is amazing how many people come in and ask you questions that have absolutely nothing to do with the municipalities. You know, you're sending them to the library, or you're sending them to a certain store to pick up something. And we have no problem with Googling for you either.
Full service clerk's office.
Full service. Full service.
We'll do
We are looking to make many of our requests and form available online, including documentation needed. We always enjoy seeing the residents and business owners, and this is again our project. You know, we're looking at the different programs now. We've already settled on more of the parking. We were working on coming up with some ways to do the train parking for next year and the muni parking. But we always enjoy seeing the residents and business owners of Ossining, as well as our visitors to our great community, but we realize how inconvenient it can be for so many. That's the start. It's been 2 months. We're having a lot of fun in there. You know, but then we moved to dog licensing.
Wait, before you do, can
Yeah,
you
sure.
take a question?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, first of all. That's a great report, and it sounds like you're making great progress. I think you've been a little bit involved with the records management too, right? A tiny bit with moving all of the records.
Oh
over.
yeah, we're taking, yes, yeah. That's done such in the background. I don't look at it as something that, you know, but we're getting the shelving in. Thank you, Victoria, for heading that project for so long. We're getting the shelving in, and we're taking over a portion of the operations center that used to be the firing range for the police office, for the Army and stuff. So it will be very interesting, and the shelving will be going in the next month or so. And most of the the first run of the boxes have been moved over there. I believe in retention filing all year long, but I see now the possible need of having a retention day where your main focus is to file and organize. And once you get into that where it's just the years that you need to keep, because we have this Bible, that's our retention Bible, and I live by it, so it's all worn already and it's brand new. But you know, because it's important to keep the right files, and it's important to realize and move forward in 2020 that we can keep a lot of files electronically. And part of what we're doing is we're starting to maintain files electronically. Oh, I do want to talk about one other license. Electronically, and we have the redundancy to do that. So we have 3 spaces that it's kept on. It's kept on the clerk's drive of the main servers. It's kept in 2 other places, and it's kept at a remote location. We have had the opportunity to use those said backups because I accidentally deleted a file one day and had to call in our IT team to save the day. The other, one of the other that we don't take care of for the town at this moment is alarm permits. Right now, the alarm permits are done for the town through the building department in the town. But I want to emphasize to everyone that they need to have their alarms registered, whether they live in the town or the village, So when you have false alarms, they can know where to go or what's going on. I just put an alarm in myself last year, and I realized that I had to get an alarm permit. So I want to emphasize that.
So my other question to you was just about the FOIL request for the village, since you have so many more of those. Are those still all paper?
No.
Okay. Just check.
It took 20 minutes of having people come down and see what it takes to do a paper foil. The time, we have a second copy of Foil Tracker. That's the name of the software that we use. It's being implemented at this time. And one of the things that I'm working with our IT department is we have the ability in the village, because they are putting a kiosk in their building department that you can work on that's on the other side of the counter. And I'd like to see it in the town too. Whereas if you come in for a building department foil, you just go, there's a screen there and you just go online and you put the foil in, because then you'll learn that you can do it at home. Exact same program, just the licenses. We have a license for the village, and we already see the difference.
That's through Simprosity, which we also are participating in. I'm
Oh,
pretty
you
sure
are?
that the kiosk is also part of our contract as well for
Oh, okay.
yes.
The town will be getting one
Yes,
as
we'll
well.
be getting a
So
kiosk.
you'll be getting a kiosk.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Fantastic. Then there'll be another icon on the screen. It will take them right to the page where they can fill up but the whole point is to get to a point where you punch in an address, and the whole reason for all these foils is,
Right.
finding out information about a certain address. You punch in the address and the information will be there.
Right.
So I think that between those two things, we can get a lot of stuff done. We're also looking to put the possibility of a monitor as we do more and more stuff online, to put it on our counter, and so they can just come in and, if they don't have access to a computer, you don't want them to have to go to the library or something, just come in and put it on. It also shows people, and it helps people move into that whole do it online and get and how quickly we can get you your information and stuff. But yeah, fantastic. So that's what we'll do. We don't even have to buy licenses. We just put on the web page and it goes right to that page.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. So now you want us to get into the dog licenses.
Yes,
Unless anybody else had any questions about any of the other stuff. Okay.
okay.
All you know.
I just want to emphasize one more time, because you're going to need your marriage license to get your enhanced driver's license. So please check where you took out your marriage license and not where you got married. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
To know the date you got there.
And please, it's not about a year. It's not about a decade.
Does anybody else have it in my ring?
Oh, yeah, no. Sometimes in the 90s doesn't work. So you guys passed a new dog licensing law at the end of 2019. And one of the things that happened with that is that the dog licenses will have a renewal date of June 1st. Right now, they stagger all year long. So every month, up until this time, every month, dog licenses went out January, February, renewals. March. I want to start off by emphasizing to the folks out there, state law, get a dog license, okay? That's important, okay? You can come to the clerk's office. You can renew your dog license online right now, but you can come to the clerk's office and get the information. It doesn't take long. Just bring your rabies vaccine, proof of your rabies vaccine with you. It helps the whole community to know that all these dogs have had rabies shots too.
Also, I guess if your dog has been neutered or spayed, do you bring that?
It makes a difference in the price, and if your dog has been neutered or
So you
spayed.
have to bring proof of that as well?
Um,
Have been?
Yeah, it usually comes on the same receipt as the rabies. So all dog licenses. So I don't know if you want to talk about the law for a few minutes before I start, or and how it's about. Okay, because you've talked about it quite a
Talked
bit.
about it a lot.
You're Jackie.
We're done.
That's up to you.
A lot. Okay, so as you know, then that as I said before, all dog licenses are going to start on June 1st.
Okay, sure. Give me 1 second. I'll say it for 1 second. 1 second. We we took a look at the dog licensing law specifically because we wanted to clean up the laws and regulations at our dog parks.
Right.
We have two places where dogs like to play in a controlled environment, and that is at Cedar Lane Park and Ryder Park. Ryder Park is more like a dog run, and Cedar Lane, for many years, we had a Friends of Cedar Lane Dog Park group that was running it, and then for a variety of reasons that sort of fell by the wayside, and we had complaints at both of these places that people weren't either getting their permits to use the dog parks or were bringing lots of dogs in and intimidating like other dogs because they had a whole pack of dogs that they were taking. Dog walkers were going in there with too many dogs. So we spoke with our police department, and they said, well, we can't enforce anything that's not town law. So if you want to do something about it, you're going to have to do something about it. So we evaluated it. We put information out to the public and asked for feedback and crafted what we thought were reasonable regulations. Also in talking with our recreation superintendent, who sometimes gets to oversee a little bit of that in our parks, and whatever other feedback we could. And so what we came up with was that that dog permits would be issued annually for the dog parks, concurrent with your license. But we didn't want this. We wanted to make it easy for people to know which dogs were in there with permits and which weren't.
Right.
So if you then get a colored tag permit for 2020 and it's yellow, then if it gets to be 2021 and the dog's running around with the yellow tag and everybody else has their red tag, you know that dog hasn't re-upped their permit or / license. That's it. Okay, now you can go.
So, okay, as I said before, the dog law states that June 1st will be the renewal date for all dog licenses. Let's start off by the fact that there is no longer any village dog licenses. It's all in the town.
Well, it'll be official after their next meeting, I guess, right? Because they haven't had the resolution passed yet. I don't know. I saw it on.
Passed the resolution, but they have a local law they also have to adopt.
Okay.
So it is, yeah, it is.
They're
At-
adopted.
Yes.
Oh, yes. As of when we really,
Okay.
we've been moving into that direction, because
Yes.
we're moving in every direction in our parking and everything, right? Okay. An application must be completed effective 2021. All dog licenses will expire May 31st, 2021. If I said 2001, it's because I still can't believe that we're in the 2020s yet. Okay? Neutered and spaded dogs are $15 per year. Unneutered and unspaded dogs are $23 a year, just so that you know. Okay, that's what. Rabies certificates are required, including the serial number, the manufacturer, and the veterinarian that gave it. And whether it's a 1 year or 3 year, I've learned a lot about rabies shots. If it's a 1 year or 3 year rabies shot. All dog licenses will include a dog license tag and a dog park tag. There'll be 2 tags. Residents of the village of Briarcliff within the town of Ossining will receive a dog park tag at no cost from the town's clerk's office upon receipt of proof that a dog license was purchased by the village of Briarcliff Manor. Again, one of the things we want to talk about tonight is what happens if somebody outside of the town of Ossining wants to use a dog park. But let's just get to this part first so we all understand this. Effective March 1st, 2020, all dog license renewals will be sent out with an expiration date of May 31st, 2021. So for the March, April, and May, they will get a couple of extra months. We also included January and February in that because otherwise it just got to be too big of trying to cycle everybody around. Effective March 1st, 2020, all new dog licenses. So we're hoping to get people coming in with their new dogs licenses will be issued with an expiration date again of May 31st, 2021. All July through December renewals will be handled retroactively with an expiration date of May 31st, 2021. So it goes down. We took the cost, the $15 cost, and it's $1.25 a month, and so it staggers down through December. So if you were in a December renewal, I don't have to name them all right now. It's $7.50 for a neutered or spayed dog, or $11. If somebody came in and they said, I just want to pay the next year too, that's not a problem. But they're used to paying. They're used to paying. We don't want to change too much of what they're doing, but we're going to do it that way. For all recently in new dog licenses, January and February, the clerk's office will send out a letter explaining that their dog license will not expire till May 31st, 2021. Just that gives us all on that date. And we're all in June 1st at that time.
So you'll send them out a little tag too.
And we already got the little tags,
Okay.
which is a star.
What kind of material is it? Plastic, metal?
It's just like the dog tag. They're metal. They're red metal.
When we had people come to the rec advisory board, they were really into metal. So I'm
Oh,
very happy
good.
it's metal.
Good. So the dog tag. Well, one of the things was we all sat around and chose red. Unfortunately, the rabies color is red this year, but it's a heart, so we got a star. Okay, a red star. So it was a big decision. There was lots of deciding going on in these things. And the year one, the Town of Austin dog park tag will be a red star. So we got them in. We have plenty of dog licenses, and we have plenty. So we'll be sending those out. We've already worked with our software house, so we have a list of all the January and February people that paid already. The letters have already been written. They're being stuffed on Thursday. They'll be mailed out by Friday.
Wonderful.
Okay, renewing a town dog license online. Currently, the Town of Austin webpage in the left-hand column, find the town. I actually detail how to do it. Find the town clerk. Float over the name. Float is your word. Which, by the way, which works. Don't click it. Just float on it. And you will see two choices: to pay for your renewal dog or to do an electronic FOIL request. I'm hoping that we can take both and maybe throw them on the front page for just a little while so that people can do that. Choose dog license renewal, enter your tag number, okay, your last name in the search, and it does come up. I did my own. Your information will come up, review all the information, and make sure you have current, it's all about the rabies vaccine. So if your rabies vaccine that you had on our files is out of date, it will not let you go any further. Please remember you are responsible for a 3% service charge on using the credit card. We must say that. We have to say that on every transaction, so we say that all day long. So, and then I have the how to get to it directly. So I just wanted to update you before we talk about everything else on some budget items. 2020 budget, we had brought it down to $1,000 because we're in this transitional period. To date, we have $964, so we're doing very well. People are coming in and getting dog licenses, which I'm very happy about. We have given back, just to go back to the first page, if you are getting a credit because there was a discrepancy between the two fee schedules, it's a past thing, we're asking you to please ask for your refund during the 2020 year. If you're getting a refund or getting a credit, please do it there's no expiration date on it, but we would like you to get it done then. Total refunds we've given or credits we've given to date was $475, and that's credits, and the refunds are $280. We continue to issue credits to residents of the Village of Ossining who received a letter because of the price difference, and we ask you to hold on to that letter and bring it in because we need that as backup proof on the voucher. You will be given a voucher. Just know that one day a little check will come in the mail, and don't spend it all in one place. So we all went over this, the three of us that work in the clerk's office, we all signed off on this little report. And so the open issue now is what to charge people that want to use the dog park, because we're ready to go with that too. And we're ready to let Briarcliff know that they can come over for their little tags. Okay. But what do you want to do with the people that want to come in from the outside?
I just want to note that I searched and found the old, so this was never part of our fee schedule, even when this was being administered by Recreation. However, the form that used to be given out, I think the last copy we had was from 2018. Non-resident dogs, they obviously had to provide proof from wherever they live that the dog is licensed in that year, and the fee was $25 per year for a non-resident. plus $10 for each additional dog. So it's $25 for the first dog, $10 up to dog number 3. So each additional dog after that.
Yes, I think you can only have 3
Dogs.
total
Yes.
using the dog park, and they have to be spayed or neutered to use dog parks. That's required.
Of certain ages, I think. If I remember correctly. Yeah, like
Maybe so. That's
under
in
6
our book.
months or something.
months.
Yeah, there's some.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. So in any case, that those are the things that you would need. I think that is still perfectly reasonable. If anybody has an issue with it, say so now. Otherwise, I think we should just stick with that. Yeah.
agree.
I never hear of this dog.
Oh, I do have one more thing to say. Upon reviewing the, I know.
Dog
Yeah.
lover, clearly.
So you can imagine when I go out and people say to me, "So, what are you working on? What deep issue are you working on?" And I said, "We're almost done the dog park." So one last issue I'd like to remind everyone is that we do have that for senior citizens 60 or older, according to the fee schedule, the dog tag, their dog license and their dog park tags will be $1 because it's all the local fees have been. Again, it's in the fee schedule, so I'm following the fee schedule. They'll be exempt from all local fees, but we do have $1 that we have to pay the state on every single dog.
65 and up.
60 according to the fee schedule. Something that can be
Okay.
addressed next year.
So
That's
again,
it.
does anybody have any issue with any of this? So that sounds good.
You have
So
to
we
do a
can add it to the
resolution?
fee schedule, the $25.
Yep, so we'll add a resolution at the next legislative session for that, to add that to the fee schedule, so it will be real.
Yeah, the local law provides that that fee would be set by resolution of the town board.
Okay. Fantastic.
So I have a copy of the dog park and licensing thing because I know you want to go home and read it again. So, so there's a copy for each of
We
you
like
there.
electronic stuff, so you don't have to give us paper.
I know. It
Except for
was.
a couple of us who like
I'm
paper, but
I'm
not
trying
one of
to
them.
I'm trying to move everyone into that, and I find myself sometimes falling back into
Okay.
Paperland.
into paperland. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And next up, we have another departmental report from our assessor, Fernando Gonzalez, for an update of what his office has been up to for these first few months of 2020. Señor Gonzalez, por favor, join us.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me once again. Before I start with the report on the reappraisal project, I'd like to make some comments regarding exemptions. As you know, this is the time when exemptions are due for renewal or for new applicants to apply. The deadline is May 1st for all exemption renewals and new application. As you know, the STAR program has been going through a lot of changes, and there is a lot of confusion out there, especially from our seniors who are not up to date with all the information and the changes as they happen. If you recently purchased a home, you need to call New York State at 518-457-2036 in order to apply for your STAR credit check for basic or enhanced STAR. Or you can go online at www.tax.ny.gov/STAR. As you know, since 2015, the state new residents or new buyers have to register with the state. They no longer need to come to the assessor's office, and as of last year's, including the enhanced STAR. Residents that this year, by December 31st, 2020, turn 65 are now eligible for the enhanced STAR if your maximum adjusted gross income is under $87,050, and this is based on your 2018 tax returns. The senior exemption, or what we also refer to as the regular senior exemption, for those with a maximum income of 37,400, and that income includes all sources of income, including Social Security, and this is based on the 2019 tax return last year, need to come to our office and apply at the assessors. If you are currently getting the STAR exemption as a reduction in your tax bill, meaning not getting the check, you need to file with the assessor's office. And this is for the STAR exemption. If you're getting the tax credit check from Tax and Finance, you need to call again the same number in New York State. If you're eligible for the senior exemption with a maximum income of 37,400, you need to file with the assessor's office. Exemption renewals. If you're getting the enhanced STAR exemption or credit check, the verification and renewal is done by Tax and Finance. If you do not file an income tax return and they have questions about your income, they will send you a questionnaire. We suggest that you immediately complete that questionnaire and send it back to them. If you need help, you can give us a call or stop by the assessor's office. If you're getting the senior exemption, the renewal is with the assessor's office. Renewal forms to the current recipients were mailed out to you in January. If you did not receive it and you need one, please contact us and we'll be happy to send you another one. Veterans exemption, there are no renewals, as it is a one-time application at the assessor's office. New veterans application should be filed prior to May 1st at the assessor's office. You can stop by and pick up an application or give us a call. We'll mail you an application, and then we can see and determine which of the several veterans exemptions would best apply to your based on your dates of service.
Ow.
I see why people are confused.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say anything, but is there anybody here who could do anything about this?
Or know somebody.
Anybody who knows anybody who can have any influence whatsoever about this crazy confusion?
Well, I think, unfortunately, that the governor's office wants it to be confusing because
Mhm.
they
Yes.
don't actually want people to claim it,
Right.
and that's how they budget for it,
Mhm.
so that a certain percentage don't actually work for it.
In addition to that, what is confusing many of our citizens here is the STAR rebate checks, which this year was the last year, but I understand some legislators are proposing that the state continues with some sort of rebate check. We don't know yet how that's going to play out, but that is also confusing, especially those, the law also stated that anyone getting the basic STAR, which has a maximum income of 500,000, anyone who is currently getting the exemption, but if their income exceeds 250, now they cannot get the exemption. They have to get the check. So
But that is automatic based on.
that is automatic, and the state verifies the income. Yes. So how this process works before the school tax bill, the state will send us a file with people who are getting the check, the STAR check, so that when we produce the tax bill, when the receiver produces the tax bill, that message could be on the tax bill that you will be getting a STAR check.
You haven't received that yet, though.
Oh no, we won't get that until closer to, I would say, the beginning of August.
And that didn't happen last year, right?
Oh yeah, it's been
Oh,
happening
it did,
for
that same list?
a few years, and that
How many are on the list that we have to like retool the?
every year it increases.
Uh-huh.
So last year I think we had around 900. Now, of course, that also is the reason why the coordination before we can produce the file to give it to the receivers so that they can create the bill. And the last few years we've had to wait until we get that file so that we can produce the bill. So it is a very confusing situation.
That information.
And what everybody's been waiting for is an update on the reassessment project. As you know, I was here in December and gave you a quick update. And of course, the project started by doing the sketch verification, which is on the first page. where we compare the footprints of building to the most recent aerial photography provided by the county through pictometry. And based on that comparison, we came up with 318 discrepancy. 160 were minors and 150 majors discrepancies, meaning that the footprint and our sketch there was something wrong. So we work on those first and resolve those issues. Some needed physical inspections and some just needed some desktop review. So we also mail to commercial properties, we mail requests for income and expense report. We mail 586 requests, and we have received 134 income and expense reports. And of course, we use those income and expense report to work on an income valuation of the property. This income and expense on rental property particularly provide us, you know, a lot of the data that we do use and analyze in order to update the values on commercial properties. Data mailers were sent, and the purpose of the data mailer was to ask the property owners to compare the information that we have to what they know of their property and to advise us if there was any discrepancies. So we sent out a total of 8,496 data mailers. I'm sorry, I'm on page 2 now. We receive approximately 2,897 were returned, or about 34%.
How do those numbers compare to last time around? Just the income and expense and the data mailers.
A little better. The data mailers were this time around much better. I think the last time around we were in the 23% range. But remember, the last time around we entered about 60% of the property and did physical inspections. So of the 2,897 returned data mailers, 2,223 did not require changes. 516 was an office change, and 158 required field checks. The difference is when someone says, well, I do not have a finished basement, that requires a physical inspection. I do not have that second bathroom, that requires a physical inspection. If they say, well, I have 4 bedrooms, not 3 bedrooms, but the square footage is correct, that does not require an inspection. Or if they say I only have 1,800 square feet and you're saying that I have 1,836, that does not require an inspection. So that's kind of what the criteria is. So as far as the data collection, part of the data collection was the GIS overlay, which I explained at the beginning, that has completely been done. As far as the building permits, that's a work in progress as we continue to get new building permits up and until May 1st, which is taxable status date. New construction, we won't finalize the value on those until approximately May 1st. So we would have to make an assessment as to the percent of completion on some of the larger commercial projects and residential construction. As part of the process to recalibrate the model or create a new model, sales were verified. Approximately 496 sales were reviewed, of which 421 were verified. Some of the verification process is, of course, to ascertain whether it's an arm's length transaction, valid sale, or whether the condition of the property at the time of sale was the same, and whether the data that we have at the time of sale was the same, so that those sales could be used for analysis and to establish a new model. So of all the income and expenses that we receive for the commercial properties, we have completed values on about 231 of the commercial parcels. As far as residential valuation, the models were completed, and we have process value for all of the residential properties. And the state that we are in now, and we've been in it for about 2 weeks now, this is the 3rd week going in, is review. We have advised the other jurisdiction as well as the police department that we have data collectors and value verifiers out there on the field, 3 to 4 of them reviewing the value. Basically, what they do is they drive around the neighborhood with a list of values for that street, and if they see, and you can see, let's say you're in an area where they're all split levels and the values are in the range for that particular property, but now you come up to one that the value is twice that amount. When you look at it, you're going to determine whether that is correct, because for example, if you are in a neighborhood of homes that are valued at 400, 450 range, and you come up to one that is valued at 800, and you see that it's a bigger home, it has been turned into a colonial, you say, that is correct. But on the other hand, if you see a house where the grass is overgrown and the windows are shattered and it's in bad shape and the value is 800,000, you're going to say, what's wrong with this picture? And that's what we're trying to determine, that we find those outliers that we need to review and make sure that either information is wrong, or every time you create a new model for a mass appraisal process, you're going to have outliers. And we try to catch those outliers before we send the values to the public. So of all the neighborhoods, they have been reviewing, and this is the chart here shows the neighborhoods and the ones that Tyler has completed. And then we after they finish their review, they send it to us and we review it also to find any. As you know, my assistant Al Closey is very familiar with our residential properties, and anything that is out of place, he'll be quick to find it. So we're in that process right now, and we will also be driving values not only on condominiums, not only on the cost approach, which we did already, but also in the market approach. And those values will be reviewed as well. The last page is basically the schedule. We are in the final review process. The next step is when we send the change of assessment notices. That will happen by the end of March and into the beginning of April. And with those change of assessment notices, we'll include information to contact the Tyler office in order to schedule an appointment if you think that your value is off or that is incorrect, or if you would like to discuss the value with the Tyler representative and have an informal review. We're going to try to book this room as well as the conference room upstairs and maybe the McKinley room to have anywhere from 3 to 4 Tyler appraisers here to meet with the public. And we will, in the next week or two, we'll work out a schedule so that we can send that with the value notification as we did in 2016. In 2016, we had about 1,200 informal meetings. At that time, we also used the library to hold some of those informal meetings. After that, of
You don't
course,
think you're gonna have that many this time, do you?
no, I don't think we're going to have that many. There are some value changes. As I mentioned earlier, the current market condition is such that the average value of residential properties are increasing in value. However, the higher value properties are decreasing in values, and the reassessment is going to show that. So we're going to have neighborhoods that are going to go up, and we're going to have neighborhoods that are going to go down.
Right. But I wouldn't-
And within those, we're going to have some properties that will go up, down, or stay the same. But
Right, but I don't think you're gonna see the same kind of more drastic shifts.
No.
Because you don't have the amount of time lapse. that
No.
you did last time, right?
no, we're not going to see the same swings or extreme swings as we did the last time. So after the informal meetings with Tyler, of course, everybody will have the opportunity to seek administrative review by the Board of Assessment Review on June 16, which is Grievance Day this year. And of course, after that, of course, they will also have the opportunity to seek judicial review with the courts. Any questions?
I asked all my questions along the way. Anybody else have questions? The only thing that I would suggest is that all the important dates that you get to us, we can push them out in our weekly updates.
Yes. And I would ask if you could publish this exemption information on the updates on the website.
Be ready for questions when they publish this.
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Oh, no.
we'll get questions like
Oh, yeah, we're going to get questions. We're going to get calls. It's going to be a busy period of time.
We're gonna send them to Senator Harkin's office.
Senator Harkin does it fulfill for Star Bunton,
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's good.
so then everybody would be able to just call
I like
a
that.
centralized number for the state.
Okay.
And that person's job would only be to help with Star exemptions. But the governor will let her sign it. So.
All right. There you have it. Okay. No, I think that's great. Thank you. Unless anybody has any questions, we're going to move into our next topic, and I think we're seeing you in exec. So,
Yes.
and do we get a chance to do we introduce Stephen Dewey at all, or counsel to the town, who is working with us on as a town prosecutor and also for our tax certiorieries? You want to just come up and say hi because he's working with our assessor's office on the certs. And good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Dewey, and I wanted to formally say thank you to all of you for appointing me this honor. My honor to serve the town. I serve the town and the village as a firefighter as well, and served this country as a veteran. And it is my honor to serve the town once again as your special prosecutor, so I hope I do you well. Fernando is training me. He's teaching me all the wonderful laws of certiorari and what I have to learn, but I certainly feel that I'm up to the task. And I will not disappoint you, and we'll do our best to maintain the integrity of the Ossining Assessor's Office, and as well as the speeding and traffic tickets that we have to take care of on Thursday evenings. But thank you very much for the honor. I appreciate it, and I welcome the opportunity.
Thank you so much. We hear only good things. So we
Very good.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Or bad things, which is good. No, just joking.
Could be good. That's what I'm here for.
Exactly. Okay, so next up, we are going to end our work session with a discussion on the request for proposals, or RFP, for a consultant to work on our comprehensive plan with sustainability elements for the town of Ossining. A draft of this document was presented to the board in November, and it was decided then that the RFP would not be finalized until we had our comprehensive plan steering committee selected and on board to review the plan. A few weeks ago, the steering committee met for the first time, the request for proposals. And they did review the RFP and have since provided us with feedback, which was incorporated into this version and circulated also to them. And with some additional feedback, I think that we are in a place that is pretty good from the perspective of the steering committee. So if our town planner, Valerie Monastra from Nelson Pope Voorhees, would like to walk us through some of the changes, that would be fantastic.
Sure. I think from the first version that you saw to the latest version, I think most of the changes took place in
specifically dealing with some of the elements. The Comprehensive Plan Committee wanted to make sure that if they wanted some sort of report as part of the process, that they would be able to ask for individual interim reports from the consultant. Another change was associated with the actual information that they would like to be included into the comprehensive plan, specifically emphasizing a little bit more some of the struggles that the town faces dealing with, taxes as well as school district capacities. They also specifically wanted us to include information for the consultants to look at underutilized and also underdeveloped properties, to look at potential zoning changes for those larger types of properties, both in terms of potentially residential and also commercial, to look at the development within the town for both an economical standpoint as well as an environmentally sustainable standpoint. And then I think the other couple items, which was just dealing with highlighting some of the other current plans that have been taking place, like the Indian Brook Croton watershed plan, as well as specifically looking at some of the historic assets within the town.
That pretty much sums it up. Those are the changes. If you have any other questions or concerns, or if there's anything else you want in here, I know you had a chance to review it way back when, and I think that these are enhancements. And also Valerie had an opportunity to go through and make some suggestions for improvements as well before we worked with the steering committee on this, and I think that it's in good shape. All right, fantastic. So if everybody is in agreement, I think we're going to put it on a resolution. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can add a resolution to next week's legislative session to authorize a request for proposals. Valerie has been working with us to develop a list of some firms we can reach out to, as well as some professional journals and things we can advertise in. And we are looking to have two other things that we added. Something that I discussed with Tiffany Zazula from PACE in the first draft was to set a deadline for questions and answers for consultants. So we set that deadline as April 3rd, and we would be posting any questions that we get so that there's equal opportunity for any firms to get answers to the questions people might have. And then to have the proposals back to us by Friday, April 17th. And then we would reconvene the steering committee to review these proposals and go forward from there.
Okay, sounds good.
It's in here to inventory all of our green spaces as well, correct? So there's I see parks and watershed, and
I mean, honestly, I haven't looked at it today, so I don't know.
Well, it says inventory of the town's natural resources, including its watershed. So the natural resources would be your open space and green areas.
just want to make sure that's in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you, Valerie. And if you could hang out for 2 minutes before we're rushing off.
Sure.
That would be great.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, could I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for advice of counsel, personnel, and contracts?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next week, Tuesday, March 10th, for our legislative session, which will take place at the courthouse, 8688 Spring Street. Have a great week, everybody, and don't forget to wash your hands.